Last night I was talking to this guy and he was like, well, what I'm really looking for is a chill girl who's just always down to have a good time, willing to grab a couple of beers, watch some football, go fishing. So I said, my dude, it sounds like you want a boyfriend. And then he blocked me. He definitely wanted a boyfriend.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid.
Now wait just a minute.
And you're ugly, just like your mum.
Wow, you are all kinds of stupid, lady. All right, let's just go ahead and break this down. He wanted one of two options. The first and most likely is he just wanted someone to smash. Someone who wasn't going to add too much stress onto his life and, you know, just do the things that humans have been doing for thousands of years, just with proper contraception, because the idea of breeding with you just sends shivers down my spine. The second option is, well, he probably was just being perfectly honest. He just wanted a woman who liked going fishing and watching football and just hanging out, no drama or anything like that. Your response was to try to emasculate him because you're incapable of providing anything that a man needs outside of maybe some drunken smashy smash time with your overripe slime box of endless suffering. Either way, that guy knows what he wants and none of it has anything to do with you, and you can't handle that. You live in a world where you would think any man would be happy to be with you, but nothing could be further from the truth, sister, because being alone is way better than having to deal with your ass. And yes, that's both literal and a metaphor.
That's funny because it's so true.
This is gonna sound a little bit morbid and sad, and I don't know if any other girl feels this way too, but I feel like no guy that I've ever been with has truly seen me and like known me. I feel like the people that I'm with, I know them inside out. Like I see their souls, like not to sound corny as hell. I have never really felt like any guy I've been with ever knew me like that, like on that level, and saw me like that.
Shut up, you don't exist.
Oh, that's where you're wrong, sister. Every single man that has been with you has actually seen you and knew that there was nothing actually there. Now, you're trying to trick yourself into thinking that you are this deep-thinking individual who truly sees men's souls, and you can't even describe what the hell that even means, and that's just because it's nothing but a bunch of gibberish. Let's just think about this for a second. If you could truly see men for their souls, you'd think that you'd actually be able to find a guy, because dudes aren't really that complicated. They just want a woman that's going to be able to respect him, and you're incapable of doing that. And it's awfully interesting how every single man that you've ever been with is incapable of seeing you for who you really are, even though every single man that's been with you has seen you exactly for who you are, and they didn't like what they saw. Hell, I don't even know you, but I can take one look at those gaudy nails and know that you're just not worth the price of a half a cup of lukewarm coffee there, sister. But then again, that's just common sense. And we all know how you feel about common sense.
I think the guy I was with in my 2.5-year relationship got pretty close, but still like nowhere near on the level that like I was able to do for the people that I was with. I don't know, I'm just like sitting here reflecting like, damn, no one really knew me. Like, has anyone ever really wanted to like know me on that deep of a level, and will anyone ever want to?
No.
No, woman, no one will ever want to do that because there's nothing to see. There's nothing to know. You're a hollow shell of an adult woman who complains on TikTok for a living. There's nothing more that men need to know. Just take a look at your track record. You're talking about every single guy that you've ever known hasn't been able to see you, and the longest relationship you ever had was 2.5 years, which is practically an eternity for the modern woman, and yet you still figured out a way to screw it up. And I don't feel bad in accusing you of being the problem because, well, look at you. You're trying to be a victim that no man has ever seen you the same way that you saw them, but you don't even know what you're talking about. If someone were to give you $20 in 5 minutes to actually define what you're talking about, you wouldn't be able to do it because it's nothing but a bunch of spiritual garbage that you cough up just because you don't want to reflect on how you could potentially be the problem with every single man you've ever been with. Just be real with yourself for a second there, woman. You cannot see past the designer shirts that Chad wears whenever you see him in the street.
Like you kind of like hear about stories like that, and like obviously like in the rom-coms it's like this, but does this happen in real life? Like, do guys have any desire to know women on like a deeper level and know them like inside out? I don't know. I don't know if any of that made sense, but if anyone else, any other girl has experienced this, please let me know. I need to know I'm not alone.
Okay, let me get this straight here. You are basing this entire gibberish philosophy on rom-coms? That's your only real evidence? I mean, that's pretty much all we ever hear from modern women, is how their only real proof that these things exist is through frickin' celluloid. Now, yeah, men do want to know their women on an emotional level, but that's only because of a survival mechanism. We don't want to risk everything on a frickin' psycho who's going to lie to us for the next 20 years. And I would even be so bold to say that a majority of self-respecting men want just that. The only problem is that modern women have made it clear there's nothing to know. You have no substance. You have no depth. You just want your life to be one gigantic romantic comedy where you get the true love at the end of the day. But that's not how it works. The very second a self-respecting man finds out what you do on TikTok, he's going to avoid you like the plague that you are and the plague that you spread. Because he does want to know his woman on an emotional level. He just doesn't want her to air out their dirty laundry on TikTok whenever she doesn't get her way on something.
I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.
Can we please stop pretending that single people that are open and vocal about the fact that they want to meet somebody are not living fulfilling lives? Like, I can't even tell you the amount of comments I get on videos where I talk about wanting to meet somebody, the struggle of meeting somebody organically, and I always get comments being like, do things you love, live a life worth living. I do things I love. I have amazing friends. I have a great life. But that doesn't all of a sudden mean that I don't still want a partner or someone to share my life with.
And
Nah, sister, that ain't happening. People are going to be bugging you online to get a life when you endlessly complain about not having a man, despite having a quote-unquote fulfilling life. You practically cry out for help every single time that you post one of these videos. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine, but you're prefacing everything on being a single woman who's incapable of having a boyfriend. That's your entire platform. And when you do that, there's going to be people on the internet that are going to tell you to go out and do things so you're not focusing on it all the time. Now, we all know that the life you lead is nowhere near as fulfilling as you think it is, because if that was the case, you would be out there living it and being totally fine with being single. Instead, you go online and you complain about how you don't have a boyfriend, which is something that could be easily remedied if you just went out there and, be a halfway decent woman. Good men who are looking for relationships aren't exactly that rare, but you'd rather focus on what you don't have instead of what you potentially could have if you went out there and had a life.
Those two things can be true at the same time, and it's crazy to me that that is always the advice you tend to get. People being like, oh, well, do things you enjoy, get hobbies, as if you don't have them. Me wanting a partner does not mean that I'm not living a fulfilling life with so much love and laughter and happy things. Just because you're single and are open about the fact that you want to meet somebody does not mean you're not living a happy life. Period.
You go, girl! You get it, girl! You hear that? You got it, girl!
Alright, whoop-de-doo, you got a fulfilling life filled with friends, love, and laughter. Nobody really cares. You don't go on the internet to endlessly complain to the army of hopelessly single women out there and not expect them to give you some of the most generic advice as humanly possible. And instead of being bothered by all of this, you could just mind your own business, not read the comments, and get back to that happy life you claim to have. Either that or stop posting content where you're constantly bemoaning the fact that you don't have a boyfriend. Either way, do something. Go get a hobby, go outside, get some sunlight, or go build some Matchbox cars. I really couldn't care less about your problems, and neither could the internet. The fact that you're flipping out over comments based on your incessant complaining just proves the point. And the entirety of internet culture isn't going to change just because you're butthurt over the fact that you don't have a boyfriend. Either way, just quit your complaining and get back to that happy life full of love and laughter you keep bragging about. I want to take a few moments to say thank you and welcome to Louis PUL5 for becoming the newest member of the Bounty Board on Patreon. Good sir, I cannot thank you enough for your support and your generosity. It truly does mean the cosmos to me. And that gratitude extends to the entire membership of the Bounty Board over on Patreon for your support as well. The intergalactic space god Remla Goldman card, all hail, is looking on all of you and just giving a thumbs up and saying nice work, bro. All hail. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the bounty board over on Patreon, where for $5 a month, you can get access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment down below. And of course, you can always support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of the things. Thank you so much for your support, gentlemen and gents.
Girls just want one thing. We really just want one thing, and it's to be described. That's it. It's so simple. Okay, we don't need the biggest wallet or the best looks. Okay.
Liar, liar, liar.
Hey, a man with one tooth could tell me that I remind him of the color orange, and I'd be like, really? Like, that's what we want. The other day, some guy told me that I remind him of a little cat. He's like, you're just like a little cat. And I was like, okay, orange or gray tabby. Pass me them temptations. I was like, yeah, I am a little cat. Why do you even say that? But like, I am. Like, that spoke to me. You just want to be like, describe me, you know? Like, what season do you think I am? And why? In multiple reasons. In like a DBQ format.
Let's do this.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I can take a stab at that. You remind me of outer space. Now, I know you think that that's just this glorious thing with all these twinkling lights and alien creatures, but no, you remind me more of the vacuum of space. More like there's really not a whole lot there. It's just a big black void of nothingness that you just kind of have to deal with for weeks on end until you hopefully find a planet or a space station so you can just walk around and actually interact with people who matter. I mean, sure, every once in a while you might accidentally run into some space garbage or anything like that, and you can't help but be enamored by it because it's the first thing you've seen in friggin' weeks. But then you're shocked to reality because you really don't want to be around space that long because you'll end up coming down with a case of the space madness, and then you'll end up eating soap, and nobody wants that. So yeah, that about sums it up. You are just a cold, vacuous creature with nothing really to offer, and it makes me want to eat soap out of pure boredom. Hope that clears it up for you, sister.
You're welcome. Hey, you're welcome. Hey, don't mention it. Use that freedom in any way you like.
I remembered something embarrassing I did last weekend to this fine-ass piece of shit man. Not even a piece of shit. He's wonderful. He is so sexy, okay? Like, literally one of the hottest guys I've ever seen. And kudos to me, I've hooked up with him before.
That's nothing to be proud of, Rusty.
Yeah, go girl. Slay. But yeah, whatever. It was months ago. And I walk into the pregame and he's like literally sitting there, just some fine hunk of a man, just fucking glowing in my face. And I was like, keep sitting there like that, I might have to fuck you.
Congratulations!
Lady, that's not the flex that you think it is, because that dude is getting strange left, right, and center, and you weren't anything special. It was just your turn at the night, and his standards were feeling profoundly low at the time. That's one thing that these broads will never understand. They think that sleeping with a dude is somehow the ultimate power move, when in reality, all they do is control access to the bedroom, and when they do that, any hot guy will look at that and say, sure, why not? I guess I got 3 minutes. And it's obvious to all of us that this guy probably didn't even remember your name. It's not like he actually had to anyways. He's just gonna look at you as some random bar chick he porked a couple of months back, and that's if he remembered you at all. Yeah, but go ahead and keep telling yourself that what you did was awesome, because, you know, you might as well. I'd mail you a bowling trophy as a consolation prize, but I hold my bowling trophies in high regard. I really don't feel like wasting money on the postage. But hey, when you've got nothing else going for you in life, you gotta take what you can get, I guess. But lady, you really need to reevaluate your life. Well, I would say that. That's if you actually had one.
Anyways, no, I wouldn't do that. So, well, I did. No, not last weekend. Whatever, okay? We all go to the fucking bar, and we're standing at this table. He walks away. I'm like, oh, he's leaving. I take a sip of my drink or a shot or whatever the fuck. Couldn't swallow it. It was disgusting. I spit it into this half-empty Guinness. I know, shameful, because everyone loves Guinness. Well, fine piece of... Oh! No, before he walks back, I drop it under the table.
Hey lady, lady, do you need some time to get this story together? Because it sounds to me like I could give you a decade and a half and you still wouldn't be able to tell it in any compelling fashion, because insofar, you've taken a minute to tell everybody that you banged some random hot guy and then you spit in a random drink because the shot you ordered was disgusting. And you don't even know if it was a shot or a cocktail, which just goes to show that you cannot tell a story to save your life. But we pretty much expect this kind of behavior from women like you because your blood is like 98% alcohol, with the remaining percentage being nothing but scar tissue, contraception, and overpriced makeup. But the most unsettling thing about this story insofar is how you think this is something that people, A, they actually want to hear, and B, you actually have something to say. And I'm here to tell you, sister, neither one could be further from the truth. And there's no level of embarrassment that you could actually tell within this story that's going to mask the sheer amount of embarrassment you're shining on yourself at this very instant.
So no one drinks it. Fine piece of shit walks back. He's like, where's my drink? And I was like, oh my God. You finished it. He's like, no, I didn't. He looks down and sees it all over the fucking floor below me. And he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking serious. And I was, shut your mouth and stand there and look fine. Yeah, I'm gross. Oh. Ew.
Wow. That's amazing.
Hey lady, you're leaving out the part where this guy chewed you out for spilling his drink and then demanding that you buy him another one because, well, let's just face it, you're a bar skank and you actually need to pay for what you waste. What you did was so rude on so many levels. For starters, Guinness is not a cheap drink to order at the bar, and you just wasted it because you didn't want to drink your overpriced cocktail. You tried to gaslight the guy into thinking that he drank it all, and then to add insult to injury, you're trying to make yourself look like a boss bay yas queen when in reality, all you are is a woman who stacked up more bodies than that frickin' movie Sniper. You're also leaving out the part of you ending the night ugly crying because the guy didn't want to pork you after you wasted his drink. And with all of your colorful language, I can't help but think that you're a college student, and it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if you're in some type of postgraduate program. Because as we all know, there isn't a university on the planet that wouldn't refuse to take the money from some drunken bar skank.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
My roommate in college was cheating on her long-distance boyfriend, so what I did was wait for the actual boyfriend to come home one weekend, and then I called him the other guy's name. He picked up on the cue immediately, and I got to watch the whole thing go down. And before anyone tells me to mind my business, if everyone turned a blind eye when they saw someone deliberately hurting another person, this world would be a significantly worse place.
What?
Nope, sorry sister, you don't get to be the hero of this story. You're just as much of a villain as your friend there. If you honestly wanted to right the wrong, you would have sent him a text message just letting him know what was going on. Or, at the very worst, you would have taken him aside and told him to his face that his girlfriend was cheating on him, but that's not what you did. You concocted this Looney Tunes scheme for your own friggin' amusement. You couldn't care less about this guy's feelings. You cared more about the drama for you to absorb via osmosis. You're laying there all smug and proud of yourself that you got two people to break up with each other, but in reality, what exactly did you do? You pissed this guy off and humiliated your friend. Now, I'm not about to justify cheating here. It's a crappy thing to do no matter what your gender, but at the end of the day, there is a right way and a wrong way to handle this. And if you truly cared about this guy, you would have handled it in private, but you didn't do that. But that's only because you want your life to just have some moments of a frickin' reality show. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.